Hello everyone, I am Prax in Balaga. Today, we will talk about the Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. But before we proceed, let's have some hints to what is psychosocial development. Erik Erickson's theory of psychosocial development is one of the best-known theories of personality in psychology. Much like Sigmund Freud, Erickson believed that personality develops in a series of stages. Unlike Freud's theory of psychosocial stages, Erickson's theory describes the impact of social experience across the whole lifespan. One of the main elements of Erickson's psychosocial stage theory is the development of ego identity. Ego identity is the conscious sense that oneself that we develop through social interaction. According to Erickson, our ego identity is constantly changing due to new experience and information we acquire in our daily interactions with others. In addition to ego identity, Erickson also believed that a sense of competence also motivates behaviors and actions. Each stage in Erickson's theory is concerned with becoming competent in an area of life. If the stage is handled well, the person will feel a sense of mastery, which he sometimes referred to as ego strength or ego quality. If the stage is managed poorly, the person will emerge with a sense of inadequacy. Eric Hamburger Erickson is the father of psychosocial development. His theory, post-Freudian theory, coined the term identity crisis, a turning point in one's life that may either strengthen or weaken one's personality. An award-famed psychoanalyst, anthropologist, psychohistorian, and a medical school professor, yet he had no college degree of any kind, intended his theory of personality to extend rather than repudiate Freud's psychoanalysis and to offer a new way of looking things. Regard his theory as the extension of Freud's psychoanalysis. His theory is a reflection of his own background that contains of arts, extensive travels, experiences with varied culture, and a lifelong search for his own identity.
Hi, I am Marisa Ibandalan, and I am the co-reporter in Erickson's Theory Psychosocial Development. And now, I will discuss the Erickson psychosocial stages. And the stage 1 is the infancy, birth to 18 months, and the basic context of this is the trust versus mistrust, and the outcome is the children develop a sense of trust when the caregiver provide reliability, care, and affection. A lot of this will lead to mistrust, and the important events of this is the feeding, which is in this stage they need a proper nutrients, stay healthy, and to be strong. The example in the stage 1 is, let's say a mother feeds her baby in the morning. Then the next time the child is hungry, they will cry and in the hopes that the mother will hear the cry and feed the child again. The stage 2 is the early childhood, 2 to 3 years old. And the basic context of this is the autonomy versus shame and doubt. And the outcome is children need to develop a sense of personal control over a sense of independence. Success leads to feelings of autonomy. Failure results in feelings of shame and doubt. And the important events of this is the toilet training because it brings them to be independent and to be confident. The example in the stage 2 is when parents do everything for the toddler so the toddler grows up to be a doubtful adult. The stage 3 is the preschool, 3 to 5 years old, and the basic concept is initiative versus guilt. And the outcome of this is children need to begin asserting control and power over the environment, and their success in this stage leads to a sense of purpose. Children who try to exert too much power resulting in a sense of guilt. And the important events of this is the exploration, which is they need to learn about their world and how their world works. The example in this stage 3 is if they would have a play, the initiative is developed if the child is encouraged to make a plans or take charge. But if a child would be discouraged, it turns to be guilt. The stage 4 is the school age, 6 to 11 years old, and the basic context of this is the industry versus inferiority. Their outcomes is children need to cope with new social and academic demands. Success leads to a sense of competence while failure results in feelings of inferiority. And the important events of this is the school, which is in this stage, it gives valuable lessons to the child in terms of knowledge, growth, and development. Example of the stage 4 is when a child successfully navigates the stage, they develop competency. Stage 5 is the adolescence, 12 to 18 years old, and the basic conflicts is the identity versus role confusion. And their outcomes is the teens need to develop a sense of self and personal identity, and their success leads to an ability to stay true yourself, while failure leads to role confusion and a weak sense of self. And the important events is the social relationships because they need to interact with both parents and peers. Example in the stage 5 is being unsure of who you are and where you fit, drifting from one job or relationship to another, or feeling disappointed and confused about your place in life. Stage 6, which is in the young adults, 19 to 40 years old, and their basic conflicts is the intimacy versus isolation. And their outcomes, well, young adults need to inform intimate, loving relationships with other people. Success leads to strong relationships, while the failure results in loneliness and isolation. So it means that the importance events of this is the romantic relationships because it's difficult to let your guard down and feel vulnerable, even with someone you love and trust. Example is the young adults face the challenge of forming close relationships with others. Stage 7 is the middle adulthood, 40 to 65 years old, and their basic conflicts is that generativity versus stagnation, and the outcome is adults need to create or nurture things that will outlast them, often by having children or creating a positive change that benefits other people. Success leads to feelings of usefulness and accomplishment, while failure results in shallow involvement in the world. And the important events of this is the work and parenthood. And they would focus at this stage about that. And the example in the stage 7 is in this stage an adult will be concerned with issues. The last stage is the number 8, stage 8, which is maturity or 65 to death. And their basic conflicts is the ego integrity versus despair, and the outcome is older adults need to look back on life and feel a sense of fulfillment. Success at this stage leads to feelings of wisdom, while the failure results in regret, bitterness, and despair. And the important events of this is the reflection on life because at this stage, they would weigh back about their past just like their accomplishments. The example in the stage 8 is people reflect back on the life they have lived and come away with either a sense of fulfillment from a life you will live or a sense of regret and despair over a life misspent. And I guess that's all. I hope you learned a lot from this lesson.